Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading. I'll try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask that you connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Okay, a Five of Pentacles. I feel like your life is in flux. I feel like, in some ways, you're the kind of person that doesn't feel like you're really doing anything unless there's some motion going on, you know? In other words, if we're driving in a car and the road is too smooth and the speed is too consistent and the trajectory is too straight, we almost forget that we're in the car, that we're actually moving. It just seems like the world is flying past our windows, you know? It's the bumps in the road, it's the turns, it's the speeding up and slowing down that really let myself and everyone else in the car know that I'm driving, know that we're moving and we're going somewhere, that we are hurtling through space and time. I kind of feel that you're the same way, that you like to, not that you like problems. That's not it. You like the motion. You like being able to feel that we're doing something, you know? And whether that is, meeting up against a problem that needs your effort, that needs your solutions, or meeting with a challenge or a complex situation that you've got to sort of figure your way through. You know, gives you something to do, lets you know that you're making progress. Right? You're somebody that likes to feel things in their hand to know that they're real. Yeah. I find that you're a very hard worker, Sagittarius, and I think you know my opinion of you anyway, aside from what the cards tell me, just based on the last 2 readings that we've done for you. Sometimes you have a difficulty slowing down. Sometimes the Five of Pentacles is us out there looking for problems, because we want something to do. I want to feel like I'm moving again, so I'm going to go out and look for something that I can try to fix, you know. And it's our effort applied to something, and then we can start to see the improvement, you know, like we're restoring a classic car, and it's just little by little, things starting to, it's starting to come alive again. So I feel that you've got a lot going on in your life right now, and I wonder if when we see the 5, if we need to start looking around for the 4. Maybe it's time for you to recognize your accomplishments. Yeah. So, in all of this movement, maybe it's time to just put the tools down for a moment and admire your work. Well, let's see what else is going on. Let's put this card into some context here. It's almost like we have to slow down. We have to stop moving so we can hear the message from the divine. Okay, it could be that in all of this Five of Pentacles turmoil, maybe there's just, a lot going on that's not in your control, right? Maybe Spirit has a message that is trying to get through to you in the midst of this very busy life. You're trying to hear that whisper. You're in the crowded room. You're at the loud rock and roll concert. Maybe you're seeing Metallica or somebody. You're seeing Korn live in concert, and there's someone trying to whisper in your ear. It's going to be very difficult to hear, but it's there, right? And we need to pay attention to that, and that's the High Priestess right now for you. We've got a 10 of Cups. Very good. We've got an Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. Princess of Wands and a Knight of Swords. It could really be That Spirit is trying to whisper in your ear. Maybe they're not whispering. Maybe Spirit's starting to scream at you, but we're still at this rock concert. We can't hear somebody screaming in our ear right next to us. Trust me, I've been to a few. My hearing's not so good. Because maybe Spirit's trying to tell you that the activities right now, whatever's going on right now, needs to settle down. Maybe even with the Princess of Wands here, it's kind of Spirit trying to warn you before you do something rash, impulsive, something that you really don't mean to do. Okay? Let's keep going. I got a theory about this already. We've got a Queen of Pentacles. We've got a Prince of Cups, a lot of court cards now. 1, 2, 3, 4 court cards. A 9 of Cups. 10 and the 9 of Cups. Oh, and a 10. Oh, yeah. A 10 of Wands and a 10 of Cups. That's my perfect combination of energies lately. Because to me, this is maximum effort and maximum satisfaction. Okay? And I think you're someone that likes maximum. You know, I think you like the intensity of something. And if you're going to do something, I think you're going to do it all the way. Right? Very, very interesting energy. But I do think there's something to do with a group of people here. I think that this is, you know, it might be a situation where, you know, you're right here, destiny is right here on your doorstep, and yet you're sort of flying off in other directions, keeping very busy, doing a lot of other things. Maybe you're ready for the next phase of this work, but Spirit's kind of saying, hey, you're already here, you know? This is here for you to enjoy. Why don't, you know? And that could be the Princess of Wands. They're just wanting to kind of stay in the momentum. It's hard to sort of break that down, and maybe this, and I think this is it, because this is the only air energy we have. But we'll get into all of it. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down. I think maybe that one wanted to come out. We're going to put our very own Kelly Kapoor right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. And it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction, as always, put it down in the comments, right? We can do it together. We can exercise our intuition, okay? It'll give you something to do while you're sitting there. Anyway, you're here, might as well, you know, put you to work. Let's take a look around. The only major arcana, is that right? The only major arcana we have is the High Priestess. A realization is coming in, a message is coming in, and with everything going on, it's important for you to try to hear it, right? I think there are a lot of other voices in your life right now. We have a lot of court cards. To me, that feels like there's a group of people around you. Could be you're in a crowded room and you're trying to hear, you know, you ever notice when you're in like, there's a lot of people talking. I don't know if it's just me, but there's a lot of people talking and you're trying to just pay attention to one person. Sometimes it's difficult to just focus on that one person. Now I'm neurodivergent, so I mean that's something that's always been kind of difficult for me. If there's too many sounds going, I feel like what is his name? Nate from The Office. He's like, I don't technically have a hearing problem, but sometimes when there's a lot of sounds going on at the same time, I have a difficulty focusing. Anyway, it feels that's what's going on here with all of these court cards and the High Priestess right in the middle saying, hey, the answer is right here. The answer is right on your doorstep. Your success, your destiny, your love, all of this joy is right here on your doorstep, but don't do the impulsive thing, do the smart thing. Okay? And the High Priestess, I mean, it's the only one, it's front and center. This is the voice you got to listen to. Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. But the court cards together indicate a group of people, a lot of other voices and all that. Individually, they represent your energy, okay? And information that's specific to you. So I want to point that out. The group together means one thing, but individually they mean something specific to you. So we've got our major, we've got our fire, we've got our water, we've got our air, we've got earth, and earth. And the air, like the major arcana, is a singular force here. It's one particular energy in this group of energies. Okay, so it's kind of, it really is that your mind is trying to listen to the voice of spirit, your own intuition, the divine guidance, whatever this message is that's coming in. You're trying to be open and you're trying to receive it, but it feels like there's a lot of interference from maybe all these different voices or all these different impulses and these different feelings and all these, different, even just the momentum of the thing is sometimes hard to slow down and listen. I hear my wife and daughter upstairs. It's sometimes hard to sort of stop what we're doing and let things settle down. It's like we're trying to shush the energy down so we can hear what Spirit is really saying, because maybe you're headed into a precarious or dangerous situation here, dancing with this tiger where you don't need to be. But this is what you're used to. This is what you do. It's fun. It's exciting. It keeps things moving, right? But maybe Spirit's saying, no, look the other way. Look at the Knight of Swords giving you a different answer, okay? The High Priestess is the widening psychic aperture. It is the waxing moon. It is the opening of the third eye. It is the flow of that divine light into your soul, right? And that we're in this attitude of reception. We're trying to hear it, but it's like someone who's trying to pray and there's just a whole bunch of noise on the street and there's just people like being rude and they're like belching and they're laughing really loud. And it's just like trying to get into that zone, right? We have to sometimes, we have to develop the ability to block out everything extraneous and just hear that voice, whether it's that still small voice of Spirit in your ear, if it's your own intuition, your instinct, your gut, if it is the whisper of your own guardian angel in your ear, you have to be able to hear that to the exclusion of all others, right? And it's similar if you're in a meditation or something, and it's kind of saying, well, if ideally I would be in an isolated room, soundproof booth where I could meditate with no disturbance, right? Usually we don't get that. I would meditate in my apartment years ago, and there would be my neighbors down below me would be yelling at their kids. My neighbors on the other side would be having a party, and it's the bass and the loud, music and everything, which I like. But at that particular time, I would have loved a soundproof, isolation booth where I could meditate. But we have to learn to sort of block that out and still focus. And if those who are able to concentrate and meditate in those conditions, well, then when they do get a peaceful situation by a lake or a stream or in an isolation booth, it's going to be easy, right? We challenge ourselves in the most difficult of circumstances because then everything else seems like a piece of cake, right? I feel that's kind of your energy now. What Spirit is saying in my interpretation is that the Princess of Wands up here, we don't need to put ourselves into the most difficult of situations this time, in order to make everything else the piece of cake. I think you got the piece of cake. You got all this beautiful water energy. I think you've already put in maximum effort, and now we're here to reap the maximum reward and benefit, right? So the 10 of Cups, you're the type of person that won't settle for anything less than. You know what you want. You know what your standards are. You're not going to settle, right? And in that sense, maybe the Princess of Wands is saying, don't rush into anything right now. Don't rush forward with any decisions or plans or any behaviors or any actions, right? Because maybe it would be a compromise. Maybe it would be sort of settling for something less than, okay? Because you know what you're capable of, you know what you want in life, and you're okay with working and working and working to get what you want, whether we're talking in a spiritual way or mental, emotional, physical, financial, or creative or something like that, right? Honestly, I think it's all of that. I think this is you not settling for a life that is not as full as humanly possible. And if there's anything lacking in this, we're going to strive forward and we're going to get it. If your spiritual life is not making the progress, you're going to dial it up to a 10 and you're going to focus on it. And I think that really is the way that you're creating this kind of fullness. This is a life that is, at the end of the day or at the end of the year or at the end of our life, this is a life that we can be satisfied with. This can be a life that we say, I gave it everything I had and it was worth it. And again, physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, with your higher will, your higher love, your service, your charity, your what you're giving back to the universe, like everything is in here. Everything, right? It's not just physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative. It is those higher levels of things too. It's your union with the universe, right? It is your interaction with other people and how you are. I think you're someone who likes to be of service. I think you like to give back to people and to the world. Maybe you're an artist of some kind, but I feel like your art is different than a traditional art. I don't know if you're a painter or a musician or things like this. I think your art is something else. Yours the art of, I don't know, the art of love or the art of joy or like even charity or giving back or teaching or like something like this, right? Is just, that's art to me as well, But you're somebody that wants all of it. And I think with the Ace of Pentacles here, you're always ready to sort of begin the next project, the next thing. Even if when we get the tens, in the sense of, if it were a 10 of Pentacles or something, and we say, okay, you've completed your project, you completed that work, whatever the established goal was, you've achieved it, and it's time to start the next one. That's kind of the way we roll. There's this brief liminal period, or liminal space, where we kind of look at what we've done and we admire it. Maybe that's the ace. Maybe that's kind of maybe this is the summit of the mountain. When you get to the summit of Everest, I don't know if you watch these shows, there's one on Netflix, it's called Everest, believe it or not. When you get to the summit of Everest, you're only halfway done with the work, But it's a time for us all to sit around. Now, I've never done it, but we sit there and you admire the view, take some pictures, you call home on the satellite phone or whatever. You start to freeze, and then you get the heck out of there. It's a brief period of time, not a beef period, a brief period of time where you can appreciate. It's that liminal space. It's in between the different phases of the work where you can just appreciate, feel the majesty of what you've done. And I kind of feel that's what Spirit's saying to you right now. Appreciate the majesty. Admire your work. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a high five. Take some pictures. Make a YouTube video. Post it on the internet or whatever you do. Because this is a big deal for you, whatever you're involved with right now. Okay? And I wonder if this is Spirit's way of saying, look, you've made it to the top. And before you just rush off and keep doing the next thing or the next phase of the work or the next project, like feel the joy, like understand what you've done here. It's significant. Yeah. Rather than what we see is just sort of rushing into the next thing. This could also be Spirit's way of saying, don't rush into something now that you think is going to bring the stability that you want. Because it might just be you settling for something less than just to get the 4, just to get the stability. Okay? So, either way, however this is going to work out for you, the idea is that we need to stop and we need to listen. Spirit's telling you to don't rush forward right now with something. Either with the next phase of things or with this, whatever you think is going to be productive, don't do it. There's something else. There's something else that you need to do or think about. There's some other part of the plan that you're maybe not seeing right now that needs to be revealed to you. This is a card that says let's think about it and base our actions on at least some sort of briefing. Let's confer a little bit first, because this is just very impulsive. This card here gets on one step, automatically jumps to the next step, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And usually it's a good energy. We're just kind of in the momentum, we're in the flow, we're dancing with this tiger. You don't have time to sit there and analyze or stop and think or stop and sort of admire the flowers on the side of the road, because there's a tiger right there. You got to just keep going. It's kind of like, the Cretans dancing with the bulls. I'm reading the Egyptian by Mika Waltari. Awesome book. I love that one. It's the second time. I read it 20 years ago. I'm reading it again. I love it. And there's a certain section of the book where he's in Crete and they're dancing with the bulls and all that kind of stuff. And it's dangerous stuff. And it's this is reminding me of that. It's very dangerous things where you don't really, once you sort of make the decision, you just have to act on impulse and let yourself perform whatever actions you're doing or to, move forward with your plan. But right now you're being told no. It's time now for a different, there's a change of plans almost here, okay? And I think that the Knight of Swords is a very important card right now. It is a Libra energy. It could be talking about a Libra person coming into your life, or that has some sort of information that you might need, or that gives you a different perspective. But I think that this is, it's sort of the idea that we can take a moment to rethink things, or to perceive what's really going on, to listen to what Spirit's telling you through that High Priestess energy, and use that information, use that gnosis to pick your next move, to choose your next move, rather than just going automatically with the Princess of Wands. Instead of going automatically into the next one, listen to what Spirit's telling you right now. It's kind of like that red phone on your desk is ringing, and you got to answer it because that's some crucial information that you need. Okay, and it might be telling you that, hey, you've made it. You've just take a break. Just relax. And this is something that we've talked about a lot with you, Sagittarius, is your need to slow down sometimes and just enjoy what you've done. Enjoy what you've created. And take that time to appreciate the majesty of what you're accomplishing. And even if you're not done yet, even if you don't have your 10 of Pentacles yet, you don't have your best life, there's still more for you to build. Take a moment to appreciate what you've already done and how far you've already come. All right. The Knight of Swords in the future position might also be, or I was going to say alternatively, it might indicate that we're going to run into a little, maybe a question. Maybe this is really you asking yourself, have you been too impulsive? Is this something, wow, like this is maybe when you say, wow, I was just about to jump into that dangerous thing. This is when like your heart's beating and you're like, I narrowly escaped that disaster, And it could be that this is what the Princess of Wands is about to jump into something, not even thinking. Spirit saying, don't do it. Stop and wait. Maybe you're rushing into disaster. Okay? So the message is to take a moment and listen to what's going on here. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent. Who are these other people that are around you? This is what I'm not sure about, if it's coworkers, if it's family members or friends. It is interesting that we have fire, water, air, and earth. So we have all 4 elements surrounding you in your life, right? If we've got the spiritual voice in the middle, we have the other 4 elements, fire, water, air, and earth, creating this very perfect balance, okay? And it might be that you have the perfect balance in your own spiritual energies. It could be that the idea, anyway, is that you have all the right people around you. It might be the message is stop and look around and see that the team that you've put together, the group that you're part of, is perfect. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to keep looking for the problem to solve or whatever. Like, appreciate that you've got the right people in your life right now. Right, that you already have the dream team. You've got the right alignment of elemental energies surrounding you. So I feel like, the conditions of your life that you have right now, you might not be aware of it, but they seem pretty perfect. They seem pretty ideal, right? We're going to talk about the cards over here. I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. And it supports the channel, and I do appreciate that support. So thank you very, very much. Queen of Pentacles. This is you looking back on the past. And I think that this is a card that always looks at the past. You see that long, winding road back there. That's what they're always looking at. And that's the path that you took to get right here, right now. It could be that Spirit is telling you to stop and look at everything that you've already done. Look at the road you've been driving on that got you here. Maybe it's to say you deserve some smooth, sort of effortless, motion in the car where we don't even feel like we're moving, because that's a very bumpy, windy road, right? So it could be saying that you deserve a little bit of ease in your life. Yeah. It could even be a situation where you're being told to look at your past. Look how much hard work you've done. You're going to settle for, you're going to jump into something now impulsively that is less than what you particularly want. Why would you do that? You've already done so much hard work, and then you're just going to settle for something that's sort of mediocre? No, I don't think so. So it could be that Spirit is calling on you to perform a little bit of a retrospective in order to then make the right decision moving forward. Okay, to consider these things before you act. At the very least, do what you're going to do. Spirit's not going to tell you what to do. I sure as heck, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But Spirit is at least asking that you take a moment to consider everything and then make your decision and act and move forward, right? It's kind of, in a way, stop what you're doing and plan carefully. But take the lessons from the past. Look at the road that you've already taken before you do something impulsive going forward. The Prince of Cups in the environment. This is your relationship with the environment. This is a fixed water energy. This is kind of saying that, in a way, there's something being unexpressed. And I think really it's a love, it's an appreciation, it's an awareness, and a gratitude toward the people that are around you. Maybe, don't take this the wrong way, maybe we tend to take things for granted a little bit. We all do it, right? I mean, I take electricity for granted, the fact that I can power all these lights and everything. We take people for granted. We take, literally, we're humans, right? That's what we do. We don't sit there and run through the list of everything we appreciate in life. And maybe this is the idea that we should start to, at least a little bit, do a gratitude journal. Tell some of the people around you that you do appreciate them. Just take an accounting. It doesn't have to take you days and days and days. We can't think of every single thing to be grateful for. The electricity, okay, where does that even come from? How does that even work, right? All the people involved with that, I've got to thank them individually, So it's not a matter of being very specific and writing a thank you note to everybody in the world that has any influence on your life right now, which, by degrees of separation, it would be infinite. We would never stop doing that list, or those thank you notes. So maybe we just sort of narrow it down and maybe we bring it closer to home. The people that are around you right now, I think the very balanced forces in your life. Let's be thankful for those. Let's express our gratitude. This might be a way of us stopping and just making an effort, putting forth some sort of effort or gesture toward our loved ones, just to say, hey, I love you, I appreciate you. Okay? Because the love and appreciation is there. This energy shows that it's there. It just needs to be said, And maybe this is the other way too. Maybe you're feeling not so appreciated by those in your environment. And again, I think that appreciation is there. It's just the communication needs to happen. And well, we've got that here, that this is the card that sort of links both sides of the spread together, right? So it might be, this is a lot of movement in the area of communication. It could be that's what we're really in need of. We've got to hear the voice of Spirit, and we've got to move forward with gratitude, with appreciation, with love. Maybe it's a gesture. Maybe it's just a nice handwritten letter or something. I feel that this card is also talking about how fixed you are in how you're feeling about what you're doing in life. It kind of seems as if there is this absolute commitment that you're absolutely in love with the work that you're doing or with the life that you're leading. And it's motivating. It's kind of the fuel in a way. It's the fuel that's keeping this engine running. That's keeping everything. It's just, there's always something to do. There's not really a lot of downtime. Again, anytime we get a 5, we start looking around for the 4. In this case, maybe we need the 4. Okay. And in some ways, too, the Prince of Cups is so fixed in the movement that it's not always appreciating what it has. It's kind of saying, I'm not going to appreciate this or feel this until it's all 10, until it is full. But what we know about the 10 of Cups is that the 10 of Cups is not really the end. It's not, doesn't mean everything's full. The 10 is the ideal. It's the moving goalpost. Really, it's like a 10 of Cups. Well, let's go 11, 12, 13, 14. They just don't, we're not going to have that many cards in a tarot pack, right? So we stop at 10. We're doing the decimal thing. But 10 is sort of, 10 is a way of the tarot to represent the infinite. You know? It's kind of like in some cultures where they count, they just say there's 1, there's 2, and then there's a whole bunch. Okay? And that's what the 10 is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10, well, there's a whole bunch. There's a lot. I don't even know how many. Okay, too many to count is what the 10s actually signify. And of course, we look at those in terms of the aces too. The ace and the 10, they're really the same. It's just the beginning of the cycle again. It's just saying that I can only count to 10. I'm just going to keep doing it, infinitely, really. So there's never really a final goal philosophically. Now we'll complete tasks, we'll feel satisfied, we'll feel that things are really perfect and wonderful, but that is not a state that lasts either. That becomes a 4, and we start looking for the 5, right? So what the real essence of things is a 9. Okay, because the 9 is always one step away from the 10, and that's kind of the way we like it. And I always use the analogy here that if we become sugar, then we can never taste sugar, right? So it's the moving goalposts. We like to be in a 9 of Cups. We like to be this close to absolute 100% complete happiness in life in a very sort of abstract or philosophical way, right? We all want to be happy. This is the card of someone who is happy. How do you stay happy? By having something to do, by having, by having an active lifestyle, having an active engagement with life. And I don't mean an active lifestyle. You have to go out and be a marathon runner, but maybe that's your thing. I don't know. But by always having an interaction with your life, right? We get the even-numbered cards, a 10, a 4. It's stagnant. It's stopped. It's not moving. It may be the structure that we're trying to achieve. I want this. I have this picture of this 10 of Cups life that I want. But your interaction with it is going to be a 9 of Cups, going from 9 to a 10. We're reaching out. We're interacting with something. It's a verb. It's a function rather than a state of things. This is how you stay happy, right? And I think that this is the obstacle for you because it's kind of like, it's a shark where if we stop moving, that's it. So we do need to settle down our 5 of Pentacles so that we can be aware of the state of things as they are. We want to see the 10. We want to interact with the 10. We want to get the 4. There is a reason why there's odd numbers and even numbers. It's kind of. I was telling my daughter was asking me yesterday, what is an even number? And I said, well, it's a number that's divisible by 2. It's where it can be equal, it can be fair. Like if you have 2 cookies, that's an even number because you can have one and I can have one and we have the same amount, And she was looking at her cookies like, you're not taking my cookies, are you? I didn't take any of her cookies. And then, the odd number, I was telling her the odd number, well, if you had 3 cookies, we couldn't really split that up equally. I would have 2 and you would have only 1. She says, well, that's not fair. That's not even. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Right. And so when we have the odd number, there's one piece that doesn't really have a place to go. So we're looking for the establishment of that next piece to get that even state, that fair state. And that's where energy is balanced And that's not a state that exists in the universe, you know. Everything is always in flux. So you get that temporary state of balance, of the equilibrium of forces. And it's a spiritual thing. It's a magical thing. But things are going to flow again. Things are going to continue to, you know, to develop and to move. So we need the appreciation of those equilibrated states, while we also need, you know, continual effort and more movement and this sort of thing. So it's sort of a fluctuation between a 9 and a 10, and that's life. And, you know, anytime we feel like we get to the 10, it's going to scooch back a little bit, and then we'll be like, oh, I'm only at a 9 or a 9.5, you know. I got a little bit more joy that I can go seek in life. And we want that, right? We don't want to be done. Oh, I've done it all. I'm happy as I'll ever be. There's no more joy to be had in life. So we like the 9. It gives us that one cup to always be going after. It gives us a sense of purpose. That's what I'm trying to say. I know this reading's getting long already. The 10 of Wands here at the end is sort of your ongoing ability, maximum effort, maximum satisfaction. And it's going to keep going. And that's the idea, that we're never going to run out of joy to seek in life, or pleasure or love, or whatever you want to call it, happiness, right? And so the 10 of Wands, you know, is very often a card that says you got to just sort of stop and reset, appreciate what you have, figure out your next move. Don't just go automatically into the very next thing. Appreciate the equilibrium of forces while it's here. Enjoy what you've accomplished. Enjoy the majesty of what you've built already. And then push the goalpost back a little bit and keep going. Work on something else, work on a different area of your life, move on to the next thing or whatever, you know. Let's check the mystery card. Yeah. What is it going to be? Well, we've got our absolute happiness, our joy. It's such a good reading already. I don't know what else we need. I'm thinking another major arcana energy, but which one? I can't help but go back to the High Priestess and just think there is something that they need to tell you. There's something coming in from Spirit, that maybe it's a message to slow down and appreciate the roses, you know. So maybe this will be the Empress or High Priestess. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. The High Priestess. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is something that you've got to slow down and hear what Spirit's trying to tell you. We went through a few different ideas of what it could be based on the energy here, but you're not going to know until you slow down and open up your ear and listen and receive that message. Okay? But from what we can see here, you're doing excellently in your work right now. And maybe it doesn't always feel that way. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you got to feel it. Maybe it is going very well, but you're just not recognizing that, you know, that you've made a lot of progress, that you're on the right track. Maybe the message is that you have to let yourself feel good about what you're doing, right? And not just jump impulsively into the next thing, because this could be bad. Maybe we want to check that before we jump into it. We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Sagittarius Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.